Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another show. This is the FAI Cup show where we're going to look back at the fixtures in the last round and look ahead to the quarter-final draw and just speak about that too. If you're new around here, please subscribe if you haven't already. We also have a Patreon service for €5 a month if you'd like to join that. Simply if you just like to support the channel and all the work we do around here. But also, you can vote for Player of the Month, get early access videos, and there's some other features on there too. The link will be in the description and in the comments. Right, on to the football. So I watched 3 games this weekend. I was at 2 of them. So I'm going to focus on them primarily, but speak about the others as well. I watched Derry City and Drogheda United. I watched that on TV, but was at 2 games. The first game I was at was on Friday night, where Bohemians were knocked out of the cup by the bitter red of Sligo Rovers by a 1-0. Massive disappointment for Bohemians, euphoria for the bitter red, and to be honest, Sligo Rovers deserved to win the game. Owen Elding's goal in the second half, brilliant finish, was enough to give Sligo Rovers the victory, and they're into the quarter-finals. Bohemians would be disappointed. They would have fancied they could go far in the cup this season. It was a flat enough performance by them. However, they did have a chance. Dale Rooney missed a penalty, which would have put them 1-0 up and might have put a different complexion on the game. But overall, I don't think they played well enough. Sligo Rovers from the start played with a lot of intensity, enthusiasm, didn't they? And they really came out at them, and they looked well up for the game. Both made some interesting changes as well. James Talbot came in goal, and whereas I wouldn't blame James Talbot in the game whatsoever, I don't believe in cup goalkeepers, basically. And you see teams often doing that at various levels in the Premier League in England as well. It's just something I don't really agree with, I'll be honest with you. I think you keep your number one keeper in goal, regardless if that was a league game. Would Talbot have played? Probably not. Why not? You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, Tretzka should play. I think he probably knows the back line better. He's been very good this season for Bows. Again, nothing against James Talbot. Didn't do anything wrong, really. But it's just a personal point of view. Keith Buckley came into the midfield as well, and I thought he really struggled. They could have done with a bit of legs with Adam McDonnell. And Sligo Rovers did well, considering as well that James McManus couldn't play, obviously, and Doyle Hayes has recently left the club. They did very well, and the likes of Hikiki, I thought, played very well in the game, etc. Eldin was a threat all game and obviously scored. He actually played as a striker, centre forward in this game as well. But Sligo Rovers fully deserved to win, I thought, and they'd be a difficult draw in the next round. Bohemians will be very disappointed though. Now, the other game I was at was at Richmond Park with St Patrick's Athletic beat Shelbourne by 2-0 in the midst of European campaigns, particularly for Shells, as in they've the Conference League to look forward to as well. European video out, so check that out as well, particularly if you're a Shelbourne fan. We talk about Shelbourne Linfield in that one, obviously. But yeah, from Pat's point of view, I had a feeling Pats were going to win this game. Mason Mealy was superb in this game. He scored a great goal, but caused the Shelbourne defence all kinds of problems. Was a serious threat in every facet of the game. And in this game, he looked like a player that he's only 17, remember, and he was really, really good. Chris Forrester played really well for St Patrick's Athletic, and just all round, I think Pats were good to solid, and it was a good team performance, I would say. Shelbourne struggled to get to the pitch of the game, I felt. They did have some chances in the first 10 minutes where they felt they could have scored, and maybe that let them down. But after that filtered out and Pats more or less controlled the football match. And they're through to the next round of the Cup. And again, Pats look like to be shaping up nicely late in the season, which a lot of people would say is fairly typical. But yeah, a really good performance by St Patrick's Athletic. And they'll be a difficult nut to crack in the next round, and one of the teams that could go all the way. They've won it twice in the last 4 years. Now, on to that Derry City, Drogheda United game, the Brandywell that I watched, and really enjoyable game overall. Drogheda started off like a steam train. Not only did they score through Andrew Quinn's goal after good work in the left from Josh Thomas, who was a superb all match. Him and Davis caused a lot of problems to the Derry rearguard, but Thomas himself felt he should have put them 2 up early doors, and Derry's defence was a little bit all over the place. Something I've talked about Derry before, but they brought in 3 new players, 3 new defenders, and whereas Fleming has looked good, to bring 3 new players mid-season basically into your back line, for me, is a recipe for disaster, to be honest with you. And not only that, you're putting Adam O'Reilly as a wing back ahead of Roman Boyce. So you're making 4 changes out of your back 5, basically, with Connolly being the only kind of constant as such. It's a recipe for disaster, and I think they've struggled the last few weeks. And I know Holt is a loss, but Can and Todd, probably because they know the players and, Connolly knows them, probably should be starting, in my personal opinion. Be interested to see what Derry fans think about that in the comments. But Drogheda were full value for it, worked for hard all over the pitch, looked very dangerous to counter-attack, defend it well. Derry came into it in the second half, and in fairness, Turner Lynch made changes that worked. Adam O'Reilly went back into midfield, Liam Boyce came on, etc. What a strike from Duffy. What a brilliant strike from Michael Duffy. The power, his main foot is his right foot, by the way, but the turn shaped that and the power was superb. And obviously the match goes to extra time. Now, Mark Connolly's goal was ruled out. I've looked at it a few times. I think it's harsh, to be honest with you. I do think it's harsh. I think him and Keeley are at each other. You'd argue Connolly wins the battle of strength. The penalty near the end as well, I would say, no, that's not a penalty. Duffy goes down very easily, to say the least. So, no, that's not a penalty. But they're unlucky with the Connolly one. But the feeling for me going into the penalty shootout after extra time, I just sensed Drogheda would win it. I don't know why. And, to miss all 3 penalties is sickener for Derry. I just felt Drogheda were going to win it. I don't know why. Again, they had more composure, I thought, penalty shootout. Dennison seemed to get into their heads as well. And he was superb in the match, actually, as well. But brilliant stuff from Drogheda United, and winning the cup last year and knocking Derry out. It must have been tough enough that for Derry City, but they need to knuckle down Derry City now and make sure they get a European place, because they have a lot to play for now till the end of the season. Drogheda will be delighted. They're still there on 2 fronts, especially for that charge for Europe. Now, elsewhere in the big Munster derby, Cork City had a superb win against their rivals Waterford FC at Turner's Cross. And I did say a few weeks ago, when it looked like Cork City were dead and buried in the league, losing home to Sligo Rovers, that they might play without a bit of pressure. And the results recently have been better. And the cup, really, it doesn't matter where you are in the league when it comes to the cup, does it? And that seems to be the thing. Murray gives them an early lead after 22. Lonergan equalises after 2. Lonergan equalised after 22 after good work from Amond. And Kamara, with a brilliant header with 10 minutes to go, gave Cork City the win. And the sense they might win this game, And superb win for Cork City, and they probably will be relegated, let's be honest, but a cup run could be magnificent for them, and be interested to see who they get in the draw. And I'll be speaking about this after this review, because the draw is actually on the left hand side happening at this minute in time. But I'm half peeping without trying to lose my concentration. But yeah, Cork City, absolutely superb victory into the next round. At Finn Park, Finn Harps a superb win against high flying Bray Wanderers, who are in the first division in this cup tie, winning by 3-1, particularly when you go down early after 8 minutes through Curtis' goal. They come back superbly to win the game. Cullen Mamponga on the score sheet for Finn Harps, and it was a really, really good win for Finn Harps, a great win, and to get them a Ballybuffet next round could be really, really interesting. But absolutely a superb win for Finn Harps, and keeps their interest going. They have a squeak of a chance of a playoff, but, Bray Wanderers will be very disappointed though, but they do. It's back fully focusing on the league now. Disappointing for them is that Billy O'Neill actually got sent off as well after 55 minutes, which was a killer for them as well. But Finn Harps 3, Bray Wanderers 1. Now, Kerry FC had a superb win against Cove Ramblers, high-flying Cove Ramblers. Now, Cove will be disappointed with John O'Donovan getting sent off after 2 minutes. Shane Griffin very late after 90. But brilliant performance result for Kerry FC. Brilliant goal from Keane Brosnan. What a volley after 10 minutes to give them the lead. Fantastic stuff. And Joe Adams converts a penalty to put them 2 up and give them a superb victory. Kerry last season got to the quarterfinals, wasn't it? Against Bows, and only lost in penalties. So a trip to Mount Park could be difficult for any of the big guns. Brilliant result for Kerry. Now, the Galway derby finished Salthill Devil 0, Galway United 4. No surprise here. Buckley on 11, Walsh on 36, Hickey on 65, and McGuinness on 90. And a much needed win for Galway. They did have a good result last time out in the league, home to Shamrock Rovers, which stemmed the tide a bit. But they needed a victory. And they got it here. And okay, it was expected, but they still had to go and do the job at Eamon DC Park. And Salthill, they gave it a good effort, but Galway United much, much stronger and much needed win for them. They're through, obviously, to the next round. Now, I did manage to catch the second half at Tallaght Stadium on TV as Shamrock Rovers beat Longford Town by 2-1, and McGovern's penalty on 8, Burke's penalty on 84. In between that, Ugbesi scores in 25 after great work from Ryan O'Shea, and Longford were plucky. They put in a good performance. Shamrock Rovers making 9 changes, so you lose a bit of rhythm when that happens. And Shamrock Rovers could have got caught out here. Fair play to Longford Town, who have a poor season in the first division, but really put in an effort. The penalties, I know some people complained about the second penalty in particular. I still think it's a penalty. They claim that it was a shove on Andy Spain, but I don't know. I think there's contact, but there's going to be contact in a penalty box. I think it's a penalty. It's a handball, to be honest with you. And I can understand frustration for Longford Town fans to be so close. But I think Rovers would have got them an extra time anyway, with the extra bit of quality came off the bench and the legs, to be honest. But great effort by Longford Town, and Shamrock Rovers just delighted to be in the next round. European show out, so we're speaking with Shamrock Rovers on that against Santa Clara. Keep an eye on that. So the draw has been made, and some interesting draws. Kerry FC do get their home draw, and it's against Sligo Rovers. Really, really interesting tie that. All the pressures on Sligo Rovers a bit of red. You know, I know in a way Sligo Rovers fans will say, and rightfully so, the draw could be more difficult than paper. But still, all the pressures in Sligo to go down there and win. Kerry FC can draw from the strength that they did bring Bohemians to penalties last season. So can they learn from that? So it's a massive tie for Kerry and Menhope Park again to be welcoming a team like Sligo Rovers and a club like Sligo Rovers to Menhope Park. Let me know what you think in the comments of this one. Do I give predictions? Do I wait? I won't give predictions yet, to be honest. I'll wait for another show for that. But Sligo Rovers are clearly favourites here. Finn Harps, they do get their match in Finn Park and Ballybuffet against Cork City, and this is a serious banana skin for the Rebels. Yes, they've been showing form in recent weeks, and maybe the pressure's off them a little bit, but suddenly now they're favourites. And to go up to Finn Park and play Finn Harps at the quarter-final of a cup, there is a bit of pressure there because Cork City fans will feel they should be winning it. But again, Harps, I think, be happy enough with this draw, actually. It's not an easy draw. Obviously, they're playing a Premier Division team, although Cork City will probably go down. But still, they could have been travelling as well. So the Finn Harps faithful appreciate that. Really, really interesting tie again. Let me know what you think in the comments. Richmond Park St. Pat's entertain Galway United. And you'd have to say Pats will be confident here. Galway United have struggled in the last few months, and it's a home tie for Pats, who've been quite strong at home generally this season, to be fair. Overall, Galway United will probably look at it and go, look, we can obviously cause some problems, but they probably would have favoured a home draw, obviously, or chosen a few other sides away from home. I'd argue Pats are the second favourites of the Cup as we speak. So again, it's an interesting tie. They're all interesting ties, but I would favour Pats for this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, finally, the tie of the round is at Sullivan Lamb Park, where the cup holders take on Shamrock Rovers, and this will depend. It's an interesting tie anyway, but it'll depend whether Shamrock Rovers are favourites of this competition. But if they get into the Conference League, it might be difficult for them to negotiate and juggle everything, to be honest with you. Drogheda United are such a difficult team to play against. Shamrock Rovers will know that, and particularly when they go to Sullivan Lamb Park. But what a draw this is. Tie it around, as I said. Very, very interesting fixture. Again, let me know what you think in the comments. So that's it, guys. Please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already before, and any thoughts you have on the games previous or this draw, let me know. Bye-bye.